is The Furnace with John Burton.
Hey, this is going to be a good one. I think this is going to bless a lot of you, help a lot of you. We are going to have a little discussion about money, and I'm going to share the secret sauce to financial breakthrough. I'm going to share a testimony, kind of our own financial story, and I believe it'll really help you. Amy and I, we shared this testimony a little bit at church on Sunday morning, and they asked us to do that, and we did so. But we own businesses here in Branson, and kind of even backing up a little bit, when we've been in ministry like forever. Our entire married lives, we've been in ministry, starting out as youth pastors, ultimately planting churches, and launching prayer movements, and having a time where we directed one of the internships at the International House of Prayer in Kansas City, and so a lot of ministry, a lot of stuff like that. And of course, I travel and speak, and and I write a lot, and write for Charisma magazine, still do that. But that was our life. Ministry was our life, and we knew that there was a shift coming. We didn't know exactly what that was going to look like, but we felt for sure that our season was done in Detroit, which is the last place we were. And we felt really kind of, in a way, for the first time, that God just said, hey, it's almost like he said, I've been dragging you all over the nation. We lived in San Diego and Dallas and Colorado Springs and Kansas City and Detroit and Tennessee and, just all sorts of different places. And he's like, how about you all just choose where you want to go? So it really felt that there was a lot of grace on a kind of a new season. And I won't go into all the details on what led us from Detroit to Branson, but Branson, Missouri, which is where we are right now. But it was miraculous. God moved. The signs were so cool. And we didn't know if we were going to move to Colorado Springs, where we had lived previously, or if we were going to go to Branson. And, well, we did. We moved to Branson. Well, when we got here, we didn't know exactly what we were going to do. Were we going to start another church? I didn't think so. Were we going to just focus on me traveling? I thought maybe that would be something that we would do, and I'd travel and minister primarily. And, well, Amy ended up getting a job as a server at Dolly Parton's Stampede, which is this super cool dinner theater with horses and buffalo and comedy and all sorts of stuff like that. And so she was a server there, and I was working on developing my itinerant ministry and all of that kind of stuff. And it was working out all right. But we knew there was something else. We knew that there was more. In fact, we knew even financially for our family, we were going to have to get a little bit creative. So we took my son Skylar to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to visit Oral Roberts University, which is it was one of the options of where he might end up attending college. He ended up attending Lee University, which is in Cleveland, Tennessee. But we were on this trip, kind of investigating, and we had some time in the evening. We weren't sure what to do. That is my doorbell, my Ring doorbell on my phone. So someone ring the doorbell at home. So we decided to go and play an escape room, and we had never done that before. And by the way, don't let me lose you. I'm going to give you the secret sauce to financial breakthrough. It's coming. 3 keys to financial breakthrough. Super easy, super powerful, but that's coming up. And so we decided to play an escape room, and we found one. I'd heard of them. I wasn't even sure exactly what they were. And we went and we played, and the light bulb started popping. And Amy and I looked at each other, and we're like, we can do this. We can do this. And we're thinking, Branson doesn't have an escape room yet. And we felt that God was giving us the green light. It felt right. Well, we started doing our due diligence. We started doing some research. And all of this is happening very, very quickly. Long story short, within 6 weeks, we secured a property. We did some build out a little bit. It was mostly ready to go, but did some build out. Of course, built out our rooms, designed our rooms and all of that. We got all the graphic design and all the web page and all, and of course dealt with the city and all the code issues and got our business license and on, all of that stuff. Got our signs for our business, and all that whole process took 6 weeks, and we opened on October 31st, 2015, which is just what's today? Today's September 30th, so we're right there. Almost 4-year anniversary. And so we opened, and it blew up, and it was exciting, and the money was coming in, and God was blessing. And so we know that we can't put all of our eggs in one basket. It's never good to do that. Multiple streams of income is crazy critical. You got to do it. And so we started to think, how can we diversify? In the meantime, USA Today voted us the 5th best escape room in the nation out of thousands. And we just started from scratch. Other escape rooms started coming to Branson, but we were thriving. We're still thriving to this day, and I believe a lot of that is because we were first. God knew the timing. I love how God's involved in all of this. He knew we needed to step on the gas and get it done, because there was actually another escape room, we didn't know about it, that was in the works to open here in Branson, and I think we surprised them by opening before they did. And so we were first to market, so that helps. It's a saturated market now, so it's difficult. In most cities, it's difficult to start an escape room and to be prosperous because it's so saturated. But we were first to market, and so that was working out well for us, and things were going great. And we were learning a ton, non-stop learning and going to trade shows and conferences and all of this kind of stuff. And we decided to diversify. So here's where the story really kind of kicks in. And this is where I'm going to talk about the secret sauce of financial breakthrough. We decided to start another business called the Axe Game. So this is axe throwing. And to do it a little differently than a lot of axe throwing places do it. A lot of axe throwing places are more adult oriented, and a lot of them they'll serve alcohol or be in bars or that kind of thing. We wanted to do it as a family friendly form of entertainment right here in Branson, Missouri, where families could come and learn how to throw axes and have friendly competitions and all of that. And so we did that, and of course we did the research, and we traveled down to Tampa and talked to a friend who had started axe throwing and learned a lot there. And well, we opened, and it took longer for the build out to happen than we thought, just a little bit. And the money though was a lot more. So, and then after the Axe Game, right after that, about 8 months later or so, something like that, we started our third business called Sagas Mysteries. So all three of these businesses are side by side in an outlet mall here in Branson, Missouri. And well, I say we started that business. We didn't start it. We leased the property for Sagas Mysteries and didn't build it out for several months. In fact, almost a year. Because we didn't have the money to do that because of all the money we put into the Axe Game. So now we're paying a lease on 3 different properties. One of them was not even open, not even built out, nothing. It was vacant. And so things were a little bit crazy. Well, all of that's kind of taken place last year. And we were in upwards of $80,000 to $90,000 worth of debt, something right in there. And here we are still trying to run our business and trying to live our lives, and all of that's happening. And all of a sudden we have this extreme amount of debt, understanding that or we were believing that the Axe game was going to skyrocket just like Escape Code did. Well, the Axe game didn't skyrocket. It's slowly built. It's still slowly building. 1 year later, it's healthy and it's growing, but it's slow, and so it did not bring in the big bucks that we were hoping for. So we were in $80,000 to $90,000 worth of debt. The Lord speaks to Amy. Now, this is really important. Now, we are big time believers in tithing. Huge. I mean, it's crazy to think that anyone wouldn't do that. And so that's always important to us. And then also we give, above and beyond that. Well, Amy felt impressed that, and it's going to sound, maybe it'll sound funny to you because it's such a low number, but it was a step of faith. She felt we needed to increase our giving by 1%. And I know, 1%. But it was the obedience and the trust and the faith, knowing that God was speaking this to her, and she took that step. As of last month, we are out of debt. All of that money has been paid off. And so that's a God story. That's a phenomenal God story. We are hugely blessed, but here's the secret sauce, and this part won't take that long. I believe if we want to see financial breakthrough, there are 3 specific elements that we need to pay attention to, focus on, develop in our lives. All right, these three elements, I believe, will set you free and it will set you up for a prosperous life. First one, number 1, is wisdom. Number 2 is faith. Number 3 is peace. Let me break these down very quickly. Number 1, wisdom. The Bible says that God has given us power to create wealth. I actually heard somebody, someone commented on Facebook the other day and said they were adamant that God does not give us power to create wealth. And, well, it's in the Word. He absolutely does. And what this means is that He gives us the responsibility to strategically and with wisdom develop our financial portfolio, develop every part of our lives, including our finances. Not only does He give us the responsibility, He gives us the ability. He does. He absolutely does. And so we use wisdom. It's like, all right, God has made it clear that He's given me the power to create wealth. It's not because of, my own great abilities. He gives that. It's a gift. But I have to participate. And so we need to use wisdom. Amy and I were just talking about this today. We're thinking about another kind of business venture, and we're talking about this idea of using wisdom. And what does that mean? Well, counselors. The Bible talks about counselors, a multitude of counselors. Well, we do that big time. So we'll talk to people that are in the business. We'll research online. We'll visit the area that we were thinking about. We will, we'll do comparison, competitive studies, all of that kind of stuff, and then make a determination from this place of wisdom. Does it make sense? Is it wise for us to move in this direction? The Bible says that He gives us the power to create wealth. Well, that means we have a part to play, and we need to do things in order to develop that. There are a lot of people out there that are in poverty because they don't even understand this principle. You have to do a lot of stuff in order to pull yourself up out of that poverty and to start to see this development of wealth. You've got to, it could be as simple as going to school, learning a trade, getting off Facebook and taking some online classes, believing in yourself and selling yourself, when you're going to get a job. When you sell yourself in an interview, make it to where the people that are interviewing are just chomping at the bit to hire you because you're so amazing. There's so much that you can do to position yourself for for wealth, for breakthrough. Okay, so wisdom, paying taxes, that's wisdom. A lot of this isn't necessarily quote unquote, spiritual. It's a lot of it's just, it's secular, it's real. A lot of times when we're considering things in business, we're not going to a Christian, though we would love to do that, but maybe there's an expert. We have friends and contacts and in our business to where, like, you know what, so-and-so knows a whole lot more about this than we do. We need to go talk to that person. Doesn't matter if they're a Christian or not. And so we need to use wisdom. Okay, number two is faith. So when we started our business, that was a step of faith. We used wisdom, we did our due diligence, but get this, we did have to take a step of faith, and our money was gone. And we had a little bit of money saved, and that money was gone. I mean, gone to the point where I was driving through McDonald's, and on my card I had like $3, and I'm thinking, all right, I can get me like a Coke and $1 hamburger or something. I don't know what I got, but brought us down to about $1 available. And so it was a step of faith, and it was immediate because God was in the mix, that things started to kick in for us at Escape Code. Amy and I we were talking today about how God, because of our faith, I believe it's our faith and our wisdom, and I'm going to get to the third one in a moment, that God has protected us from making bad decisions. As an example, here's a great example. We were getting close to opening up a retro arcade instead of Sagas Mysteries. Remember I talked about that. We were going to do that. We went to a convention in Orlando. We were making contacts. We were finding out where we could get all of these machines. It was going to cost $75,000 to get all of these arcade games in. We were doing all of that. We were making connections up in St. Louis. And then all of a sudden, and we were mildly excited about this. We were not really excited about this, but we felt it was a step that we were taking to diversify our business. All of a sudden, it was announced that a retro arcade was opening right across the parking lot in the exact same shopping center that we're in. And I just laughed. And I felt so relieved, because God allowed that to happen before we made some insane financial investment in doing it ourselves. And how strange would that have been for both of us to open, and it would have been crazy. But you just wonder how God works behind the scenes. Maybe God accelerated their decision to open, so they would do it before we did it or whatever. But all the time in real estate, in all sorts of different areas in life, God has protected us, and I believe it's because he trusts us. He trusts, we're operating in wisdom, and we're taking steps of faith. So he knows, get this, he knows that we're not always playing it safe. He knows that. He knows that we are going to take a step of faith, and he knows that he has to protect us. Okay? He knows that. So a lot of people get very, very nervous and overly cautious, and while they use wisdom, the faith isn't there. But the Bible says that it's God. He's the one who supplies all of our needs, and so we don't have to be overly nervous financially. We can take steps of faith, knowing that God is there. All right, number 3, and here's the third part of the secret sauce. Number 3, peace. Peace. And I believe this is one point that a lot of people don't consider, because I believe our peace is actually a manifestation of our faith. When we're at peace, knowing that God has us. The Bible says, and this is one of our favorite verses, the steps of a righteous man are ordered of the Lord. What that means, we live righteously, we live surrendered, we to the very best of our ability, we're living obedient lives. We have a relationship with Jesus. I mean, there's intimacy there. We're hearing his voice. We're connecting with him. All of that stuff's going on. And then we know that as righteous people, using wisdom, using faith, that when we take a step, And again, this can apply to anything in life. A lot of people are afraid to quit their job and move to another city, even though everything else is lining up. They're afraid to do that because they don't know that God's going to order their steps. They think, and a lot of people think God's going to beat them down if they make a wrong move. And that's not God, okay? But understand, this is a three-legged stool. You've got to have wisdom, you've got to have faith, and you've got to have peace. And you take that step knowing that God has your back. When I was a youth pastor in San Diego, and this job opportunity in Texas opened up for me as a youth pastor of a large church, I was like, oh man, if I make the wrong choice, my whole life is sunk. And someone spoke to me and said, you know what, John? Steps of a righteous man are ordered of the Lord. He's going to order your steps. He's got this. He's not going to crush you under his discipline because you were bad. It's not how it works. Now there might be discipline if you are disobedient, but if you are living righteously, you are using wisdom, you are stepping out in faith, you're taking a risk, and you are allowing yourself to be at peace, I'm telling you what, things come together. And I do believe that is the secret sauce, that it's not so secret because it's in the Bible. But it's a recipe for financial breakthrough, a recipe for success. Those of you that you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, that's okay. Don't worry about that light. Use wisdom, take steps of faith, and have peace, knowing that God's got you. Make sure you're extravagant givers. Make sure you're tithing. Make sure you're in alignment. All of that's so very important. And as you do that and all of this works together, you're going to see a very solid financial life. Doesn't happen overnight. For us, we've been disciplined our entire lives. We've been married 24 years. And over the years, and God's always taken care of us, we've seen breakthroughs here and breakthroughs there, and stories and testimonies and increase, and we've seen things like that develop. But then over time, it can become stronger and stronger. So your answer right now is for you to begin. And a year from now, or 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, things are going to be a lot different. And so plan for your future, have wisdom, use faith, be at peace. All right? Leave some comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to The Furnace with John Burton. You can access media, read articles, and partner with the ministry online at burton.tv. And by all means, share this podcast with those who are hungry for revival, reformation, and revolution.